today, Mr. Roger Wayner. Throughout the planning of the business luncheon, starting with the 37th annual business luncheon, students said that they did not have an opportunity to hear the speaker.
I thought at least it probably wouldn't be appropriate. I thought at least it probably wouldn't be appropriate, but who you all have before you today is a gentleman that has an enormous experience, I think spanning over 30 years in various forms of development at the very highest level. And so as Tougaloo scholars, it is our mantra that when we have an opportunity to listen, to grow, and to advance, not only intrinsically, but also begin to map out how we envision our lives taking fold beyond Tougaloo College as we matriculate, it is opportunities like this that allow us to radically imagine what that consists of. And so he comes with a plethora of experience. He currently is an executive with AWS, Amazon Web Services. And so if you see the data centers going up all over the state of Mississippi, he is integrally involved in leading that effort. And so when you think about innovation, how it intersects with workforce development, and all of these various things, he is the gentleman leading that effort. And so they have made a huge investment in our college to the tune of $1,084,000 for us to digitize our curriculum, for us to figure out ways where we can integrate artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. And so I want you all to let's really focus, keenly focus that is. Take notes if you must. I don't see any of you with any paper and pen, but that's fine. We're in an age where we can literally just take notes on our phones. And when the time comes for you all to ask very probing questions, I want you all to be at liberty. You have full autonomy to do so. And so take this opportunity. Let's give him a warm welcome, and let's have an amazing time this afternoon. So let's give him a really warm welcome.
I'm gonna walk, so I apologize. It's that time of day, if I stop moving, probably will be good. So I'm gonna keep moving on. Thank you for coming. I'm sure this wasn't mandatory fun. No one had to be here. You all made a choice to be here, so I appreciate that. I want to ask a couple quick questions to get us started. Real quick, I'd love to go around the room. Like, what are you in? Like, what are you here for? What are you in school? Let's go fast. That's gonna be a lot of work. Yeah. Alright. You lobbyist? Right here. To your side. Okay. Ladies, what? Can't be shy on me. Pre-med. Nice.
Ladies on the front row?
Yeah, okay. Come try that out. Okay. What you got? Nice. Well. All right, come on out. Why'd you choose him?
I chose him because I pretty much love science ever since I was 10.
Okay.
I was fascinated with exercise and things like that. So,
No right or wrong answer. What do you want to do with it?
I want to be a researcher and promote healthcare.
Probably do really well. Probably do really well. Cool. It really helps me kind of understand where everybody's coming from, and also help me hear the conversation a little bit. So look, I asked a couple folks what y'all would be most interested in, and what I kind of surmised very quickly is if I start telling you about, the company and everything that the company wants me to tell you, I'm probably gonna lose you really fast. I'm not gonna do anything. The best advice I was given is just have a really candid conversation with you about how either A, I can help you specifically or more generally about achieving the goals and career things you want to do in the next chapter of your life. Probably time well spent. Is that fair? All right, cool. So, real quick, I won't give you the one over the one down. I think we have, at one point, 3 years ago, so pretty cool thing, when you interview and you have your first day of orientation, the one little nugget they tell you that you don't think is important until you're 5 years later or 3 years later, is how many people are in the company. So when I joined the company, there were 48,532 people in the company. A couple of years ago, there were 2.1 million. That's how fast we grow. We actually have one other question. Any press in the room? Good, because that changes it. You're going to get it with me. The other interesting thing is we have a tool that will tell you what percentage you are in the company in terms of longevity. And I'm only at 8 years, which I guess is sort of long in the company, but I'm like in the 98th percentile. We have a super high turnover rate. We have a super high attrition rate. Tough place to work, but one of the most exciting places I've ever been in my entire life. So, I mean, it's just, if you want to be challenged and you want to do big things and have complete autonomy to break stuff going fast, do billion-dollar stuff, no place better on the planet. There's no place like it. We have folks that come to us from Google and Microsoft. They're all great companies. Big joke is we'll all end up at Microsoft on it. But they come to us and they're like, hey, you guys move at a speed we can't comprehend. And you guys have complete autonomy to go do and break almost anything you want to go break. It's part of our culture. We're not breaking things, we're not moving fast enough, we're not being aggressive enough. We thrive, I'm just going to give you kind of what I would know our culture. We thrive on what we call two-way doors. That helps us go fast. We don't have long conversations about should we do this and what is this. Okay, what goes wrong if we do this? If it's a two-way door, we can turn back around and go walk the other way. Do it, go break it, go try it. Cool, not a big deal. What it does is allow us to go super fast, because we don't belabor what happens if we go wrong. As long as no one's gonna die, or nothing super bad's gonna happen to anybody, and we're just gonna like lose money or whatever, if we do it well and it's super successful, that's great. If we do it for a little bit, we learn that, hey, this was either not the right timing, great idea, not the right timing, and we lost some money trying to figure it out, that's fine. It's super fun. So what happens is in our culture, and because of that, at any level of the company, you get the chance to write like a one-pager and say, I want to go try and do this because of this, and you get someone to believe in that document, you sell that document, you may find yourself with an organization one day that grew out of that idea because it was the right idea. And what is the right idea? The only thing that's the right idea is you know your customer better than anybody else, right? Like think about one-click buy. Like how many got an Amazon account, or at least play on one, right? Buy one. Do you know how important it was a one-click buy was? Someone wrote a one-pager and said we would increase the velocity, reduce the friction of people to get what they want. One click instead of 2 or 3 clicks, right? One page, they did that, right? Next day delivering, a one page, right? Y'all love it. Somebody knew their customer well enough and said, I believe in this, I believe my customers want it. So they wrote a one pager, they sold it, people bought into it and said, yep, smart stuff, it's not gonna cost us so much money that goes wrong. Go. Some of those people now run half that organization, right? You're rewarded based on how well you know your customer, how well you can advocate for your own ideas, and how well you can make things happen. If that's what you're into, it's the most exciting place on the planet to work. I'll give you I'll stop on it. My own specific example. I was hired by a person. I was the only candidate on that team other than that person. And unbeknownst to me at the time, that person was not in the right place at the right time, doing the right things. And the boss that I worked for said, just literally on a lark one day, he said, He said, write me a couple pages. So I wrote 3 pages. I literally had to Google internally what is the 3-page document. So I wrote a document on it. Little did I know that individual that hired me was no longer there. 3 weeks later, and he handed me the document, the keys to the team, and said, "Go to the conference, good luck. Tell me what you need." We're a much larger organization 8 years later, and we deliver substantial results for the business. People love it. Our customers love it, because we do a lot of this. We build partnerships with the community. That's a little bit about the culture, if you ever wondered. I also was told that there's a shorter sense of urgency in everybody's mind about what they do next. So I'm going to share with you what I can share with you about what opportunities must look like. So, frankly, you've got a massive, I think we publicly committed to $10 billion. We committed to another $3 billion for Pittsburgh. I'm just going to be honest with you, all a lot more than that. That's just, we like to under-promise and overproduce. I think our commitment to 1,000 jobs, I'll just tell you, we're well over halfway there.
Do y'all have like an HBC partnership directly with HBCs or?
Great question. So we actually have, there are parts of the business that do have HBCU specific partnerships. AWS has sales teams that leverage those. Our team has one because we have, I want to say, 3 priorities, right? Tribal populations. In the United States, a lot of our locations are either on or around native tribal populations. They actually have the same thing in New Zealand and Australia as well. So that's one. The second one is underrepresented minorities in tech. Another one is ladies in tech. And so those are the areas where we really focus. And veterans are important. So we have programs across the business and folks who wake up every day thinking about that. But it's like on that kind of sales side, and it's much bigger, and their programs are probably far bigger, more aggressive, but all I can, like that's again the beauty of our company, I can have those objectives and goals for my team, and I can do what I want, no one's gonna tell me I can't do it. So go ahead.
Is there, are we working on like a partnership with them directly here?
We are.
Okay.
We are. So we already have a couple. So 4 years ago, I think we partnered, I can't remember the gentleman's name. Well, we partnered on a cloud curriculum piece, and then we just, I think you referenced it. Yeah, Rosenthal. We did that program, and we talked today about cloudifying some in AI and some of the existing curriculum. And then I think the other thing that has been super interesting so far is there's this new AI program in the state, and Tuvalu got $1 million plus out of that, and we certainly want to be in partnership about how you develop faculty, the curriculum, and candidly create opportunities for students to take advantage of that. So there are some in place, but like I've tried to, I just had a couple meetings today already. You're our neighbor. You go a mile down the road, it's our front door, right? So it'd be really foolish for us not to have a great relationship with the college and figure out how we can be a great partner with the college. We operate very simple mental models. We start near, and we work our way out. We start with fast, what we call immediate, intermediate, short. And that's the way we think about almost everything. And we really operate on velocity. We really like smaller things that we can do fast, see if we can deliver a result. If that works, people get excited, people get attention, people get resources. The next thing you know, we grow that into something. We're not really good with battleships, we move really slow. We just get, as you probably see, we get distracted really fast because I'll share this with you too. We always have these conversations with states in particular and big universities. Like the number one thing for us is serving our customer, right? So think about like, what if you were myopically obsessed with that? Like you just want to deliver results for your customer. Okay, there's a problem over here. So now I have to stop caring about you and worry about this problem. in it, we're gonna blow through it, or something, or we're gonna get back to us. Because that's why we've been successful. It drives everything that we do. The best compliment you could ever get in our company, customer obsession delivers results. Folks get promoted really high, we pay a whole bunch of money because they're customer obsessed, they get results. Right? So, it is kind of the idea of vast opportunity. So you've got these data centers right down the street. So I want you to think about and be thinking dental models and buckets. I apologize for my poor handwriting. That is not what they paid me for. Okay. Bless you. So, in your backyard, a mile away, there are a ton of jobs. Okay? None of those jobs require a 4-year degree. If you got one, great. You're even better off, more well prepared, and have probably a better opportunity to be successful, but it's not required, all right? So, we kind of divide our data center jobs up into 4 buckets: build, connect, power, operate, maintain, right? So, I'll go into those real quick, right? So, build, trades, right? So, I'm talking about really high level trades at mission critical facilities where that are globally in demand. I'll just give you, like, y'all, I think this would be compelling to you. Anybody have any idea what a high voltage electrician makes with 3 years of experience in the data center industry right now? 225 to 250. I should be an electrician. Why? How is that possible? Because operating at that level of efficiency in those types of facilities is so in demand right now. You can write your ticket. Absolutely write your ticket. I'll give you another example. My wife's brother, God bless him, was running forklifts, working in warehouses, and was just struggling to find his way. So this is Connect. We do a program called fiber optic fusion splicing course, right? So I'm going to jump on you. Stay with me. Fusion splicing. This is the Connect piece. Fiber optic cable, right? So what we found is fiber optic technicians were in such high demand. There was really no national training, and if it was more telco oriented. So just for example, your average office building that you see around here has 2 pairs of cables in it, fiber optic cables. Our cables that run in our facility have 7,283, 5,632, and we have small ones that are 3,480, right? That's fiber optic cables with that many pairs of cables in it. What happens if someone hits that with a shovel or backhoe? Shuts it. A lot of people freak out. Big red lights are going off. But someone's got to fix it. And it takes a special type of person to fix it. You got to be willing to fuse glass together 3,800 some odd times to put that back together, right? And people pay a lot of money for that. Back to my brother-in-law. What we found in working with industry was that uniqueness of wanting to do that. I call it putting your earbuds in and doing that for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, is tough to find. So what we did is we didn't try to create a fusion splicing course. We focused on that one thing. Do you have the mental aptitude to do that? Do you like it? Everything else can be talking. Everything else is easy. But if you don't have that, waste of time. You're just going to bounce out and go, this is driving me crazy, I don't want to do it. Right? So, if you can do that, it's a 2-day course. It's for free. We've done, 20, 30 of them all around the country. You go to it, and 2 days, we have the leading manufacturer of fiber optic cables and the fusion splicing equipment teach course for us. We've done it at the Hines and then at the community colleges here. I think we've done 10 of them here. At the end of graduation, we have the employers in the region, employers locally who hire them and us. You do speed dating, and on average, 50% of the people in the room get off the job. 2 days. Why? Because you've proven I don't hate sitting there fusing fiber optic cables together, and I can do it because I like to put my earbuds and be left alone. If you don't have a mental aptitude for it, you're gonna hate it, you're not gonna do it, and they're gonna waste their time. But if you can get over that one thing that bounces everybody out, now those investing, right? Take a guess, how much does the fusion like to make? If you don't mind working, about 180. If you don't mind working hours, you get all the overtime you've ever wanted, you make $180,000 a year if you buy fiber optic cable, and you can do it any place you want to do it. Largest data center cluster in the world in Northern Virginia. Costs a little bit more to live there, probably your 180 cable goes far. But here, I think we've seen folks making 150 in the Jackson area. So there are options. It's in the technology field, and most of the time, let's be super clear, you're not working out on, a lot of times you will be, but as you progress, you're not working out on the side of the road in a truck, but it will have air conditioning and stuff. What you really want to do in that field is get inside the data center and doing internal cabling. Cleanest environment in the world, well air conditioned. We keep the place quite cool, and it's like working in a laboratory. And you're fusing fiber optic cable together. So just trying to expose you a little bit what these opportunities are. Power, I already told you what an electrician makes. Even inside of our building, if you're not like on poles and stuff, but you're working inside of our buildings or other data center buildings, you're still well over 150 in terms of that. Starting, I think, at 70 to 80, even as a journeyman woman. Operators maintenance. So we have two really cool jobs inside of our facilities. We call them data center technicians and data center operations. Again, not a 4-year college degree required, don't have to be technical necessarily in nature. What you have to be able to do is have attention to detail, actually enjoy the work. And what you base, so the data center technician, just to give you an idea, when we build a hall, right? Well, if you drive by the two sites that we have here, you'll see this big building. Each building is roughly 250,000 square feet. We usually build them in 4 building blocks, roughly 1 million square feet, right? Each one of those buildings is divided into 12 rooms, and each one of those rooms is what we call a lineup. And that lineup means it's just a hall full of racks and servers, right? And we have well over, sometimes anywhere from 100 to 100 plus people in every one of those buildings. There's a lot of opportunities. A lot of people say there's not a lot of jobs in data centers. At our scale, there is. We've committed publicly over 1,000 jobs in Madison County alone. So, that data center technician's job is to manage those racks in that building. And look, everything fails, right? There ain't a computer out there that doesn't go wrong at some point. So if a rack fails, they'll go in and pull that specific element out. They'll replace it, they'll test it, they'll make sure it's good, it's ready to run traffic, it's got all the security protocols in it, etc. And you're basically almost a hardware manager, right, for computer equipment. Occasionally you do cabling and all those things as well. It's kind of a jack of all trades. On the floor, living real time in the data center. And then as you go up as data center technicians, a little bit more technical, a little bit more of the cabling, a little bit more of the security elements on top of the racks and servers. And then remember, every 3 to 5 years, we trade those out and update them because we run them super hot. One of the reasons we run our data centers hot is because it uses less water, uses less energy, but we run our stuff really hot. Hotter than any other company in the industry. And so we have a lot more go on. Even though we engineer them not to, it just does, right? But that's okay. That's why we have a lot of data center technicians, data center operators working in the facility, and they deal with all of those, right? And then when we swap them out, we do big bulk swap outs, right? So we'll take a whole lineup, we'll take it down, we'll have the other one ready to go, already moving what we call test traffic. We'll bring it in, we'll line it up, and we'll stand a hold on the lineup when you go to next. And you can do that as long as you want. The other cool thing in the building, which I think is more interesting for me, that building is a big machine that has a ton of power in it, a ton of air conditioning in it, a ton of really expensive stuff, incredibly rigorous security protocols. We have people who make sure that machine runs flawlessly 24/7, 365. So it's not not building maintenance by any stretch of imagination, it's building operations. So if you have that kind of bent in your mind and you like making a big machine of, I kind of call it a mix of Tetris and computer programming work, it's the air conditioning, it's the energy management, it's everything. Like that's what those folks do. They make a lot of money because they make sure that big box of all that expensive stuff keeps working right, doesn't break. Because it gets really expensive like brakes. So, and then there's specific elements there. Like we have the most high-speed cooling equipment in the world. There are folks that do nothing but they need that cooling equipment outside. Because again, cooling gets the brakes, then we start bumping racks, stuff gets really expensive really fast. When I first started the company, I remember a rack, like we used to think was really expensive at $380,000 or something like that. Racks down to the density we have, well over $1 million a rack. $1 million a rack. So when you see a data hall and you see kind of that rectangle, easily $1 million every position. So, you know, that's the reason the wages are what they are in the data center industry is because everything inside that box and the box itself is super expensive. So we pay people really good wages to make sure they're working that really expensive stuff. Yes, ma'am.
You talked about a lot of opportunities that Amazon Web Services offers.
Yeah.
Could you share with the young people how can they take advantage of these opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of where we get at the bottom. So like we have training programs built for each one of these. We work with the 2-year college system, we work with the 4-year college system. When we came here to Jackson, we only brought in, I think like 4 or 5 people from other places. So like Northern Virginia is our biggest region, it's the hardest place in the world to operate. It's super complex. If you're gonna promote somebody to leadership, you take the number 2 person in IED and you give them the region and go, good luck, right? Not go knock yourself, here's your opportunity, knock yourself out, right? But that's the only folks we typically bring in. We prefer to hire local. We prefer to build our workforce out of folks like y'all. You know the community, you like being here, you have a connection with the community. And a lot of folks want to stay where they grew up, which I get. I moved back to where I grew up because I got to stay my life where I could. What we're trying to do is create family-sustaining wages at that $70,000 to $80,000 mark, starting, where you can stay home and not have to move far and have a great job in your own community and not have to relocate someplace else to find good work. So we have programs in the community for each one of these. We'll make them available. We were talking about kind of doing a little bit more formalized job fair or something like that, if that makes sense. I think those are fine. That's a way to get to everybody. What I'm more interested in, if any of this interests any of you, then like let's get those names together and I'll put you directly with the people that are responsible for this, and let's just have a conversation, right? Because job fairs are good, I get it, but like we all want to make something happen, right? Like y'all want to move fast. You're probably coming up on the end of hopefully. I'm not telling nobody should leave early. Let's be clear. 4 years degree, or I'm not I have a couple of them. What they typically call overeducated, not very smart. I got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in teaching. I don't know why I did, but I'm glad I had it. It served me well. It really helped the way I think about things, but it's not required. You know what I'm saying? But it will never not serve you well. So, to your point, we have mechanisms to help you prepare to take the job. What I prefer to do is if it really interests you, and I've got a whole couple of things that we do with job fairs that kind of give you a little more detail. You can obviously, all the smart folks in the world, the internet, you can go online and figure. You could easily go to the internet and know more about data center technicians in probably 30 minutes on your phone than anybody else, right? You don't need me to play, right? Well, what you know what I'm interested in? Those of you that do it. If you take the time to go to your phone and look for 30 minutes, and then you have where to go. I want to learn more. Now I know where I'm on, right? Now I'm more akin to that time. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. So we have a leader, so does anybody know about our leadership principles? We have 12 or 13, 14 leadership principles, we have a couple too. The vast majority were created by Jeff Bezos originally when he founded the company. One of the ones I think we have a love-hate relationship with sometimes is hire and develop staff, right? We hire everybody under an incredibly high bar. If you have a good manager, they're gonna spend time in development, right? And how do we do that, right? We really focus on our leadership principles and training people to do exactly what I said. Be customer obsessed, have no fear, invent, simplify, like think big, have courage. Like those are the, when we think of making a full person, we think of making a full Amazon. Right? And that's kind of weird. Like we are a super peculiar culture. I get it, but we're proud of it. We have a super peculiar culture. So if you are genuinely interested to your question, go look up our leadership principles. If after you read all that, you think that helps you become exactly what you said, a full person, which it will, it just will look differently than maybe what you're used to. That's how we do it. We train, we evaluate people, we promote people, we coach people on how to be a great Amazonian. Right? That sounds weird. It's a little cultish. But it's who we are. It's made us who we are today. Right? For us, it's everything. There's not a single management decision that we make that is not based on leadership principles. From the interview you go to your promotions, to your pay, comp, everything is about how well you embody the leadership principles. I will tell you, the people who are most successful at the company are the best at mirroring and exhibiting the leadership principles as a part of their day-to-day functionality. So it's a great question, it's sort of hard because we're so weird.
Another way to ask.
Yeah.
How do they come up with you?
Oh, God, you don't want to do that. Look, I'm gonna be super candid. You don't want to be on the block. I'm one trick pony, right? Like, I've been around economic development for so long, the company highly values that, so they keep me around because I do that one thing. Could I probably do other things maybe, but I really want to. I like doing what I do. I like doing this. I like working with communities. I like working with building these win-win relationships. Really great Amazonians can do anything, right? So we have a hiring philosophy on my team. So we also do levels. So we have levels and colors of badges, right? So for every 5 years, your badge color changes. So when you first get hired, you get a blue badge. Vast majority of our folks never make it past 4 years. Right? Then you get an orange badge for 5 to 10 years. You get a red badge for 10 to 15 years. God forbid you're still around after 15 years. 15 to 20 is purple. And if you get a graphite badge, that means you've been with the company over 25 years. That's a really long time to be an Amazon. Really long time. Why do I mention that to you? Those people that I know that have been wildly successful with the company and been there for a long time probably have had 5 or 6 different jobs. But they got promoted, and they got because they had courage. They wrote a one-pager. They built something for a customer, and they turned it into a great result and delivered a result. My team, I am unlike a lot of other people. I hire, sometimes people call my team land employees, right? It's because I find Amazonians who've been wildly successful, whatever they were doing. They found themselves in an organization that's being reorganized, maybe it has bad leadership. They're a great Amazonian that's got a bad home, and they're looking for a good home. I am the island. We are known for being an island employee. So folks will say, I find great people, I cultivate them over the years, I get to know them what they're good and what they're not good at, and one day that phone will ring. And they go, man, I'm in a bad situation. I need a place to land. Can you help me? What do you got over there? I'll do anything. And I go, I know you can do it, because I've watched you. I've seen you be a great Amazonian. That's how you become wildly successful as a company. You don't have to be a subject matter expert at anything except being an Amazonian. Other managers, other leaders recognize it, and they'll hire you to do hard things because they need people to do hard things. And they know no one can do anything. jokingly say our tax department doesn't have any non-CPAs in it, and our legal department doesn't have any non-lawyers in it either. So it's not ubiquitous everywhere, but for jobs like mine and for jobs like infrastructure and stuff, you'll see people move from risk management in infrastructure to water. Right? But they're afraid of zoning and doing, so you give them hard things to do and they're successful. Does that help? Does that answer sort of matter?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Wayne,
Yes, ma'am.
you still an opportunity to ask questions?
Absolutely, yeah.
Students? Oh, come on.
Yes, sir.
How do you go about applying one of the jobs?
Yeah, absolutely, super easy. So I always recommend go to the webpage. You can sort by location, you can sort by Jackson, I think you call it Jackson Metro. Just go and look and see all the jobs that are there, right? If you find something you're super interested about, I'm gonna give somebody, you, a name. And if you tell me you're super interested in it, I'm gonna get someone to come and sit down with you. And we're gonna have that conversation about it, and we'll figure out whether it's the best way to do it. But again, I don't want to take you out of school. So be close to the end of the graduate.
We have a couple of students who are interested in data analytics,
Yes, ma'am?
writer, in science. So could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have them everywhere. We have them absolutely everywhere. Our legal department, so we have a technical career field, it's paid a lot more than the average person. Data scientists, economists, data analytics, like we have like 10 different job classifications in our data tech field. And you can move up and around all those. Like I have a bunch of economists on my team, that's a whole other research field. And the beauty of that is you can, I'm gonna make this up, you can do 3 years studying why people use Alexa on the left side of the bed, I'll write it down, right? But just crazy stuff, like on our sales side, in terms of customer behavior, because that's what we're obsessed with. We have data analytics people and research people, exactly. If you were a data analytics person and had a psychology degree, you would never be bored at this company. Because all we want to understand is what makes it easier for you to reduce friction, to do buy what you want to buy, to improve your life. But then you could easily, with that skill set being a good Amazonian, you go to legal. We have a ton of folks that sit there and think about how we end up in this lawsuit or that lawsuit, or how do we defend against this lawsuit or that lawsuit. So that's, but you come to my team, and when we sit there and talk about how does our investment in the community and the tax revenues we generate for that local jurisdiction improve police protection, fire protection, improve schools, etc. We are a data-driven company, and if you're into data, you are the most wanted commodity on the planet. Except maybe an HV electrician. Yes, sir. Somebody out here.
You speak about opportunities as far as the legal side.
Oh, yeah. So this is, so my mental model, apologize. So this is the data center stuff in your backyard, right? Then there's this whole operation, which is directly tied to this, which is what we call infrastructure. And then there's this whole other wonky world that I live in, which call it corporate services. So, like, believe it or not, economic development reports up through the legal VP and chief counsel of the entire company. So we're the legal org, it's kind of wonky. It's us, public policy, and legal. Okay, but there's everything else underneath there too. PRs underneath there. You have all these other things that don't. We're a company of builders, so if you build something, we call it business. So if you're an AWS and you build something, be it infrastructure services, you're a builder and you're tip of the spear. You're same thing on the .com side. If you're in .com and you run a fulfillment center, you're the business and you run everything, right? The rest of us knows are corporate services, right? So legal is in there. I don't know if we have one of the largest legal organizations of any corporation. We're probably up there in the top 10, is my guess. But it's the gamut of it. It's so interesting. It's everything from product liability. Someone referenced ethical AI this morning. Like, we have more attorneys sitting around trying to figure out even what legal ethical AI means, right? So when you're on the tip of the spear of new technology, it's really incumbent upon you to think about how how you do it responsibly, which means you encounter questions, A, you never thought you'd encounter. And it's incumbent upon you to think about those things and try to create guardrails to do it well, right? So we have a ton of legal folks that just sit around and think about, how do we not be bad humans with AI, you know? I'm trying to give you the more interesting pieces of all of it.
I guess a follow-up piece to it, would I be able to find any opportunities on the same website that you said to find?
Oh, absolutely. Every job I think on any given day, we have 453,000 job openings in the company. You better be good at using your prompts to search or you can get lost in the wash. But we do have really good search tools. But like at any given time, there are more job opportunities in our company than you should pick out. So, man, I highly encourage you to look. Again, if you find something interesting, the gentleman left. Like we're here for a reason because this is important to us. Our partnership with HBCCs and HBCUs is super important to us. We leverage resources to that challenge because we choose to. So if y'all have an interest and you have a will and a desire and you find something you're like, I'm super interested in this, we'll invest in that conversation, help you prepare for a loop, help you get through the process and everything. We're happy to do it.
Other questions?
Yes, sir.
Is this infrastructure part of the cybersecurity policy network, or would it be an operations range?
Which one now?
Cybersecurity, would that fall into your infrastructure branch, or would that be under like operations range?
That's the other world of builders over here. When you have infrastructure, you also have services. And that's the other class of builders. I jokingly say there's two types of builders in AWS. There's these types of builders, and then there's these types of builders. Infrastructure is the more we build bricks and mortar stuff, but services build the back end. Now I will say, because I think you and I talked about networking before too, that networking piece, raw networking, like those fiber optic builds and stuff, how we connect it all. Remember, so every one of, so we have, I think 30, I'm sure I'm off if my PR people do too much stuff right now. I think we have 32 regions around the world. Like we're in KSA, we're in Dubai, we're in Milan, we're in Paris, we're all over the world. Jakarta, Indonesia, wherever. All that's connected. So if your data is, let me just help you understand like our technology too. So we have what we call a 3AZ model, which is 3 data centers that are connected. I'll tell you why. It's all about resiliency. Let's say your data, I'm gonna have fun, right? It's late today. If your cat pictures are in this data center, but you really want your cat pictures, right? Your data is constantly flowing like this. Let's say an event like an earthquake, hurricane, takes this data center out, right? Let's say for whatever reason, God forbid, Ridgeland goes down. Your data is probably going to be porting between Canton and Vicksburg. Okay? Now, depending on how much you love your cat picture, you can say if two go down, I want my cat picture to go to Jakarta, Indonesia, wherever, doesn't matter. You can do that as customer defined, right? But my point to you is that's all got to be connected somehow. And when you're running services on that data, if it gets off and out of phase, it doesn't work anymore. Your math quits mathing, and your services don't run anymore. So we spend all this time making sure that when that data runs in here, and if you decide to move it out, like either A, we can stop it and put it in a box, move it to a region, start replicating again, or we can stand up all your services. Remember what we're talking about here, I'm being facetious with the cat picture. We're talking about how Volkswagen runs its entire operations, right? Like that's what runs on top of us. How many people have to use it? Guess what that runs on? Hulu, Netflix, all run on AWS, right? No one likes their video or their movie buffering or their music buffering, right? Or it could be how the VW runs its entire operation. All the same thing with us. It's data that replicates and runs and has to run perfectly. That's why we have a lot of really smart people that work about how data moves